The Ombudsman, after a 7-year investigation, found that there was no collusion. Why do you dispute that?
Well, first of all, the term 7 years implies in some way that this was a daily grind. This took 3 ombudsmen to provide a report. I thank the Ombudsman for providing the report. It didn't deal with the issues, all of the issues which I raised. It dealt with other issues which I didn't raise at all. But on the broad issue of collusion, in the report it says that there was no prior information within the IUC or the security forces. And yet the Ombudsman acknowledges that he didn't have access to British intelligence files, to British Army files and to other files. So by thanking him for his work, I'm making the point that it's incomplete, that he needs to scrutinise these other files and then make a judgment in the round. And I also think this shows the need for dealing with the past in a holistic way, which is victim-centred. I don't consider myself to be a victim, but for those people who do and who are victims, this just shows how difficult it is to look at events that happened 30 years ago and come up with incomplete conclusions.
In the past, Sinn Féin, in the past when the police, the Chief Constable has criticised or come close to rejecting Ombudsman reports, Sinn Féin have criticised the police for doing that. Sauce for the goose, sauce for the gander. Aren't you doing exactly what the police have done in the past?
No, I'm not. I'm giving a considered view. It does involve me. I was shot. I have a certain interest in knowing that some body within the upper echelons of British intelligence collaborate in that attempt to kill me, aside from the guys who went out to do the actual operation. I don't have any ill will towards them whatsoever. I mean, as part of the Good Friday Agreement negotiations, I negotiated for their release. So I have no animosity in this issue, but I do think that the vast majority of people want to move on and want to build the future. Now, unless we deal with the past in a comprehensive way, unfortunately the victims are going to be imprisoned in the past tense, and we need to, as best we can, to release them and to liberate them and to liberate the whole society within the island and within the north particularly. So I simply make what I think is a very, very reasonable point, that there was no scrutiny of British military intelligence or other pertinent intelligence files. So a conclusion therefore that the British security services were not involved in collusion is, in my view, premature and incomplete.
And implicit in what you're saying, is there a criticism of the Ombudsman?
No, because the Ombudsman is in many ways limited to a certain extent because he is the police ombudsman. There is no ombudsman for British intelligence, there is no ombudsman for the British Army. And I haven't said that. In the course of his report, he acknowledges that there was post-intelligence. I forget the exact date, but it may have been October of 1984. And in that, the post-intelligence says that the attempt to kill me and others was sanctioned by the UDA, and goes on to identify UDA leaders who authorised, provided the weapon, and set up and commissioned the killing. Now, it's a matter of public record that the UDA leadership was run by British military intelligence, and particularly by FRU. So, having acknowledged that this post-intelligence was there, and it was not investigated at the time by the RUC, the Ombudsman makes no comment on this whatsoever. Why wasn't it investigated? Who decided that it shouldn't be investigated? And so on. So this is for me just a simple matter of thanking them for the work they've done, but saying there's more to be done.